Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good morning, everyone. I welcome you all to my first session of Lecture 6 in the course Innovations in Software Development. In this Lecture 6, we are going to discuss about functions and classes. So we have seen in the Lecture 5 how to create a dictionary, how to access the dictionary, and how to use the while loop and process the dictionary or a tuple or a list. Okay, now in this lecture 6 we are going to create and follow object oriented programming concepts using these functions and classes. So let us see what are the objectives we are going to cover in this lecture 6. So here is the list of all the objectives that we are going to achieve. So after completion of this lecture, you will be able to define a function, what a function is, how to pass the arguments to the function, and how to return the values from the function. So these objectives you will be able to achieve. Then we'll move on to the next objective, how to pass a list to a function. So far you have seen passing an argument to a function like a string or integer or some other data type. So now we are passing a list. Okay, so the next objective is you can pass a number of arguments, an arbitrary number of arguments. Okay, storing your functions in modules. After creating a function, you can store those functions in the modules, okay, that you are going to learn. Next we move on to the next objective is how to create and use a class. Okay, so here comes the object oriented concepts like inheritance. Okay, so what functions you created, we can use those functions and we can implement the inheritance by importing the classes. And finally we will see the Python standard library for importing, etc. So these are the objectives that we achieve in this lecture 6. So let us move on to the first slide. What is a function? So as you are all the IT students, you know that function is a set of statements which will perform a particular task. It may return a value or it may not return a value also. So functions are a named block of code. That means you are giving a name to some statements. Let us say like greeting the user. Okay, inside the function greeting user you will write the block of code, that means statements which will perform a specific work, a specific task. Okay, so after creating this function you can call the function by its name. So you can refer to this example here, def greet users, def greet user. So greet user is the name of a function. So the keyword def shows you that you are going to define a function. So after that function name, it should end with a colon. Then come down, give the proper indentation space, and the next line what you are seeing here is a comment which we discussed in lecture 1 and 2. So this is the doc string. So if you are enclosing the string in triple quotes, so this code is not going to be displayed in the console. Okay, then there is a statement here, print in the brackets you are passing a string hello. So this is my definition. So now I will call this function by using the name of the function. So what is the name of the function I created? Like this. So greet underscore user and the parenthesis. So this will call this function, and whatever is written inside this function, that task will be performed and the control will be coming back to the calling position. Okay, fine. So let us say uh, I will use Genie editor now. Okay, so I have already some functions which are created. Let me take the path. Okay, so I have for something like this. So greet the user. I want to increase the font, so let me increase the font. Okay, so this is my function. So instead of this, if I create a new file, I will say here welcome students, welcome students. Okay, so display a simple message. Then after that, copy this one, paste it here, then save this file as greet students.py. Okay, I am storing it inside this functions package folder. So this is my working directory. So what I will do is I will just compile this code. It is compiled successfully. Now I will execute. So you can see the display message here, welcome to lecture 6. So this is the way how we can create a small function and we can call the function. Okay students, so we move on to the next one. This is the explanation of the previous program, whatever I discussed to you. So docstring is mentioned here, how to create the start the function name and end it, that all the rules protocols is explained here. Please go through it. Okay, fine. So you are going to pass a argument to a function in this example now. So already you have a function created greet user. So you want to say something by passing dynamically the name of the user. So you say here good morning, and in the brackets uh, you can pass this argument like Mr. Ahmed. Okay, so hello, when you run this program it should display hello Mr. Ahmed. And to customize the displaying of your text, you know, in lecture 2 we have seen this function title, which will capitalize your first character in the word, that is it will print in a sentenced case. Okay, so let us go to this example and we will do it like as I have shown you here, passing the arguments in a function. So I will take this code, then I will copy here. So welcome students. So here I am saying that my name Samir. How I am passing is using a single quotations. So here you can define your variable name. Okay, that is a parameter, it's a user defined. You can tell x1 or abc or whatever it is. So when you run this code, it should display hello Samir. So I will make it as s small and Muhammad as small. Now let us see how it will print. Okay, save, compile, so execute the code. So here what it says, see the error is I have created the function with the name welcome students, but I am calling with some other name. So this was the error. So I have to use the same name. So I will compile again, then execute it. So the second message what you can see here is, see hello, and this is the sentenced case, hello Samir Muhammad, S is capital, M is capital. So here I gave small letter, small lowercase letters. So welcome to lecture 6 tutorials. Okay students, so this is the way we can pass the arguments to the function and we can generate the response. Fine. Okay, so the explanation here is given to you how you are accepting, so that you can read it. So so that the example what we exercised is similar to this one, you can understand and do it. Okay, uh, so what we are passing here, the argument and the parameter. So which one is the argument, which one is the parameter? So this is the argument we are passing, and here this is a parameter which is used inside your function. Okay, so that is what is explained here. The variable username in the definition of greet user is an example of parameter. So that is having or holding the information the function needs to do its work, and the value Jesse is passed at the calling point. Greet user in the brackets you are passing Jesse. So this is an example of an argument. So we are passing the argument here, and this is the parameter which is used in this function to print our message. Fine. Okay, so I will move on to the next slide now. So passing the multiple arguments may be required now for a developer. So function definition can have multiple parameters, and a function call may need the multiple arguments. So in this scenario you can pass a multiple arguments to a function in different ways. Like there are the ways which are available is, number one here, positional arguments. That means in the 0th position which argument you want to pass, in the first position which argument you want to pass, that we can mention. That is the first way. The second way is you can use the keyword arguments. Okay, each argument contains the variable's name and a value. The third option is you can pass a list. So you have learned what is a list, what is a dictionary, so which will contain the values. So those things we will pass it to a function. So there are three ways here you can pass it to a function. So in the exam, like let us say the question is coming, explain the different ways of passing the arguments to a function. So then you can write this answer, the positional arguments, keyword arguments, list and dictionary values, and you have to explain it. Fine. Okay, we will move on to the next slide to demonstrate the positional arguments. So when you call a function, see here, Python must match each argument. See here, this is the function name, describe the pet. Describe the pet I am calling here by passing the first argument as hamster. So this should match with this one, and this next parameter should match with this one. So Python must match each argument in the function call with a parameter in the function definition. So this and this should be matched, this and this should be matched. Okay, so this way of passing, the simple way of passing is to maintain the order of arguments, which is known as your positional argument. So in the 0th position, this argument you are passing to this parameter. hamster for animal type, Harry for pet name. Okay students, so when you run this code, it will print the output like this: I have a hamster, my hamster's name is Harry. Okay, fine. So when you mix up these arguments, you will get some unexpected results. Might be you may get some improper results when you call the function, when you are using this functional positional arguments. Okay, so let us say now I have greet pets. Okay, so I have an example like this: describe the pet. So which type of animal you have and what is its pet name. Okay, so you can create, for example, like you have any other program, describe car. Okay, model, type and name of the car, so that you can um, call it using this positional arguments. Okay, positional arguments. Okay, so we can create, I will copy this, for example, like this: cars. I will name it as cars dot py. Inside the functions, save it. So describe cars or car, so I will call that name here car. So mine is like for example uh, Toyota. This is the car type and car name. So what is the name of the car? Is Land Cruiser. Okay, so display the information about the car. So what type of car you have? I have this car, uh, uh, then name is this one, car name is this one. Okay, so save the file, compile the file, then run it. uh, Describe cart. See, you have to uh, find the debug the errors like this. So read in which line you have the error. See, I have made a mistake here. Instead of describe car, I have typed cart. Okay, let me correct that. Save, then execute. See, I have a Toyota. My Toyota car name is Land Cruiser. Okay, car type you can say like four wheel drive. Okay, so execute. So I have a four-wheel drive. My four-wheel drive's name is Land Cruiser. Okay students, so positional arguments. So in the first position we are passing the car type, and the next one we are passing is the name of the car. Okay, so we move on now to the next slide. So keyword, passing the keyword argument is a name and value. So what is the car name? Toyota. And what is the car type is like sports, and car name is uh, Toyota, you can say. So this is the name and value pair you can pass to a function. So you can directly relate the name and value within the argument. So this is the name and this is the value for the animal type. Okay. So when you call the function, the Python will tell that each parameter with each argument should be matched. Okay. So now we will run this example. So the way you can call the function is like this. So in this case, it doesn't matter, you switch on, you mix up the order of the arguments. Like you may pass first pet name, after that animal type, or you may pass animal type then pet name. So it doesn't matter here. Okay, so let us move on to our previous example, pets. So here see, keyword arguments I am passing here. Okay, so keyword arguments I am passing here. For example, so describe the car. What is my car type is sedan. Okay, then the car name is Camry. Okay, here I say sports FJ Cruiser. Okay, save it, then run it. Animal type, still I have car type. Okay, see I have a sports car FJ Cruiser. This is using the demonstrating the positional arguments. And next one is I have a sedan. My sedan name is Camry. So instead of the, let us mix the arguments here. Save the code, then execute the code. See, there is no difference here. My sedan's name is Camry. So in this way you can pass either by preferring positional arguments method or keyword argument method. The last one is passing the list. Okay students, so default values you can see here in this slide. When writing a function you can define a default value. So what default value we have given there, like animal type is dog. Okay, and you can uh, skip the parameter like what I have shown you here in this example, where it is let us say this way. So here I skip the animal type. So animal type it will be skipping and it will print the pet name as Rocky. So here also, here I say here in the describe function you mention it as what type of uh, car you are using. Okay, for example like Lexus. Okay, so here I don't provide the argument name, so I think it's better to create a new one. So default values, value as arguments. Okay, so I have this sports. Okay, so save all, then run all. Non-default argument type, car name. Okay, car type, sorry I mixed it. The car type I have given as Lexus. Now car name I have to pass. Car name car name is sports. Okay, let me correct this. Okay, so I have just changed the order here, positional arguments order. So I am passing the car name as Lexus, and by default I have assigned the car type is four-wheel drive. Okay, so these are the three different ways we can uh, pass the values. Okay, so when we write a function, you can define some default value for each parameter. Okay, if a parameter is provided in this function call, so Python uses that argument's value. If not, it uses the doc. So that means I can also pass here the second argument. So if I don't pass, it will by default take it as a four-wheel drive. So instead of this, I can say car type equals to sports. Okay, so I have a sports car. My sports car name is Lexus. Okay, if you don't mention this, default value will be taken. So that is what is explained to you in this slide. Okay, so we move on to the next slide now. So you can refer this one um, to get the detailed explanation of what this previous program is, how it is functioning. Okay, and you change the value, the positional argument, what will happen. Okay, fine. So in the next slide, we are going to explain about the equivalent function calls. So positional arguments, keyword arguments, and the default values can all be used together frequently, so that you can have several ways to call a function. So these are the different ways you can call. So this is the first default values you are giving here. The second way of calling the function here is you are passing the argument here, the argument with key and value. Then another is the different methods you are passing here. See, by changing the order, pet name, animal type, pet name. So these are all the possible ways to call a function. So the output will be same. Okay, the ways of calling a function is different. Okay, students, fine. So I will move on now to the next slide. So far in the function we have not returned a value. So function has to do some task, then it should return a value to the called program. So from where you are calling, there you need to get the output. Okay, so function does not always have to display its output directly. So it can also return, it will do some process and return a value or a set of values. So the value function returns is known as return value. So there is a statement return, so that will take a value from inside a function and sends it back to the line where you are calling that function. Okay, so this will simplify the way of writing your program code. So I will show you that example. So now we will move on to this next slide to understand that example. See, here is the example, get formatted names. This function is accepting two parameters, first name, last name. And here I am defining one new variable, full name, and I am concatenating the first name plus last name, then formatting that name to make it as sentenced case and returning that value to this position, this place. So from this place only I am calling this function. So get formatted names, in the arguments, first argument is Jimmy, next argument is Hendrix. So this will go into the first name and Hendrix will go into the last name. Here both names are combined, it is stored in this variable full name. Now the full name is capitalized or sentenced case, then it will return the value. That value is stored in this variable musician, and finally you are going to display the on the console the musician variable. So it will give you Jimi Hendrix. So this is the explanation how it is taking from which place it is calling. So I will show you the program. So formatted names, sorry, okay. So I have little bit modified the program. See, this is the get formatted name, first name, last name, middle name. Okay, return a full name in a formatted way. So if middle name is there, then first name plus middle name plus last name. If you are not passing middle name, it will just combine your first name and last name, then it will return you the full name. So let us say here I have passed Abdul Rahman. Abdul Rahman, first name is Abdul, Rahman is the last name. Okay, so middle name, it is optional. So let us try this program. See, it will print for the first one Abdul Rahman. Second one, I am also passing the middle name Salim Ehsan Muhammad. So Muhammad is your middle name, so Salim Muhammad Ehsan. Okay, so this is the uh, way you can return the value. Okay, so you can exercise the different ways of writing a program, like accept the two numbers, then do some calculations like addition, multiplication, subtraction, then return the value to that called function, store that value into this variable and print that value. Okay students, so this is the way of simple way of returning a value. Fine. Okay, now instead of returning simple a value, let us return a dictionary. So you know dictionary how is created, with what does it contains? It will have a key value pair inside the curly braces. The first one is the key and this one is the value. So this is the first item. So next item is, this is the key, this is the value. Okay, so build person, the first name, last name it will accept. So inside this function you are constructing a dictionary. Inside this curly braces you are saying that first is the key and value you are storing is this one, last is the key and the value you are going to store is as last. So this dictionary is stored in this person variable and you are returning that dictionary to this called program, called place of code, then it will be stored in this variable and display that one. So let us exercise this one. So I have already done this one like this, Jimi Hendrix. So age is optional again. Okay, so when you run this code, it will return you a dictionary. So Jimmy is the first name, last name is Hendrix, age is 27. So for example, if you want, okay, save all, then execute the code. So my dictionary is, first name is Samir, means key and value, the second item is this one, and the third is age. Okay, which is, if you don't provide, it will not have any issue. Okay students, so this is the way how you can construct a dictionary inside the function and return it back to the calling place. Okay, fine. Now how to pass a list? So far you have seen passing one or two parameters. So instead of that, you know what a list is. So list is denoted with the square brackets. Inside that you will have a quoted string or a number or whatever it is. So this usernames I am passing to this function greet users, which accepts this one, and inside that you have a loop for name in. This is the variable name and this is the list which you are passing. So it will print the name of each user onto the console. Okay, so let us go and exercise this one. Greet users, I think. Yeah, so greet users, I have this one. So Hanan, Mariam, Sumaya, I am passing this list. So this list I am storing it in usernames and I am calling as greet users. So once the list is going here, see here, the names, this may not or need not to be have the same name. This is the user defined names, I mean parameter. So once you receive the list, iterate means loop the list by creating one variable, maybe like xyz, then construct a message in the proper format. So when you run this code, it will say hello Hanan, hello Mariam, hello Sumaya, etc. Understand, students, how to pass a list to a function and print the value. So these are all the possible ways of creating passing the values to a function after you create it. Okay, so this is the explanation here. Whatever I have shown to you, you can read it carefully. I will move on to the next slide now. How to modify a list inside the function. We are passing here the list Hannah, Try and Maggot, but I want to modify the contents inside the function here. So how? So that concept is explained to you in this example. So when you pass a list to a function, the function can modify the list. Okay, whatever changes you made to the list inside the function's body are going to be permanent. They are going to be changed permanently. Okay, so consider this example. You are creating a 3D printed models of designs that users submit. So the designs needs to be printed or stored in a separate list, and after printing they are moved to the separate list. Okay, printed model and as a unprinted designs and completed models, these are the two names I have given to my lists. So let us see here. I have this line unprinted designs. Inside this I have a list like iPhone, robot pendant and dodecahedron. So these are the unprinted designs list, and another empty list I have completed models. So when my program is printed the cover of the iPhone, this item should be moved to this list so that it should indicate one model is completed. Then the function takes this parameter, this argument robo pendant, then it will print that robo pendant, then move that model to the list which is called completed models. Then finally there is one more method created called show completed models. So for that I am passing completed models list. So it will go there, it will iterate and it will print the values. So by looking at this program it looks like very big, but it is very simple. So inside this we are using this while loop and for loop. Okay, so let us exercise this one. So to avoid confusion, I will close these programs. Okay, now printed models. See, I have a definition of the function print models which accepts two parameters. One is unprinted designs. What are they? This one. Another is completed models. So right now we don't have any completed models. It is empty list. Okay students, it is an empty list of items. So inside this function print model, I am taking this list inside the while loop. So I have defined the variable here like current design unprinted designs dot pop. So it will take out each item from the list and it will print onto the console the name of the model. And using this list dot add append method, you are going to add the model to the completed models list. So likewise, the first is iPhone will come here, then iPhone item will be extracted from the list. It is passed on to this method append, and one item is added to the completed models. Then the loop will go on for the next item, that is robo pendant. So robo pendant will be popped out from the list, stored in this current design, then again it will be added to the completed models list. Third item like dodecahedron, that will be popped, added to this completed models. Now our completed models is having 3 items. I want to show those items, display those items. So what I will say here is I pass this one print models. Already we have passed that one, show completed models. So show completed models will accept the list completed models. You can use the while loop, or you can use the for loop, or any other way you can implement to iterate it and print the model. So when you run this code, see the first one is this code is printing the model. So first item is popped up, iPhone is printed, iPhone case. The second item is popped from the list, that is robo pendant, so that is will be printed. And third dodecahedron will be popped out from the list and it will be printing that one. Now what are the items you have printed? So these are the following items that you have printed from the completed list of models from this method. So this method is producing this output. So this method is producing the printed models. Okay students, so we are modifying the list. So from one list we are moving the item to the another list. So that is the way of modifying a list inside a function. Okay, you are passing a list, and here in this while loop you are modifying the list. You are adding the items to the new list, which is known as your completed models. Fine. If you don't want your original items to be modified, original list items to be modified, how to do that one? Preventing a function from modifying a list. Okay, so if you prevent it, you can just modify, you can make the changes to the list which will affect the copy, which will leave the original items intact without disturbed. Okay, how you can do that is you can send a copy of the list using this notation called slice notation. So using this slice notation, you can pass the value, that is a list, to this function. Okay, so slice notation will create a copy of the list and send it to the function. Okay, whatever changes you made, it will happen inside the function, not for the original list. So here we have like this, see, printed models, unprinted designs. I am sending a copy of that unprinted design, then completed models. So it will print you the uh, list of items. So like this we can copy and try. save the code. See, since I copied from the text, it has some special characters, invalid characters added to that line, so that is the reason it is not able to print. So it is better to have, so I will say here print models of unprinted designs inside the brackets quotation, then completed models. Okay, see here, output is same, but inside that the original list is remained intact. Okay, if you can see the length of the list items, length of the list, then you can able to identify how many items are there after okay, we can print here after popping it out. After popping it out, after you pop out, or you can print here sorry, um, okay students, so I have modified this program to demonstrate you how to prevent the function from modifying a list. So previously we have seen this code. Okay, this code. So here what I am trying to do is I am just printing the size length of the list, which is unprinted design. So what we are doing here, we are removing each item in the attempt and trying to add those items to the list. Okay, so in between here I am printing, once you pop out, what is the size of the string length of the list. Okay, let me run this program. So now see, when the first item is removed from the popped out from the list, there are two items remaining. Then comes one item is remaining. Then comes zero items. So if all the three items are popped out, what is the size of the list? That is unprinted designs, 0. Okay, then it will move as usual and perform the remaining tasks in the show completed. Now I will comment this line. I want to pass a copy of the list using this slice notation. Now let us see the difference. So here also, when you are popping out the first item, two items are remaining, one item is remaining, zero item is remaining. But see the size, what is the size of popping out the list items? Still it is 3, but before it was 0 earlier, because we were not passing the copy of the list. Original list we are passing here in this commented line. Now we are passing the copy of the list using this slice notation. So even though the list items are removed, the original contents of the list is having 3 items. Okay, again if you want me to check, see here, the list items after copying is 0, because we are passing the original list. So once you pass the original list, each time an item is removed, the size will be decreased, so the length of the list is becoming 0. But whereas here, when you pass the argument with the slice notation, see, the size of the list is still 3. Okay, so this is a way you can prevent a function from modifying a list. Now you can pass the arbitrary number of arguments. So you don't know how many arguments the function needs to accept. Okay, sometimes you don't know ahead of time how many arguments you need to pass to a function. So fortunately, the Python is giving you this kind of facility to collect the arbitrary number of arguments from the calling program or calling statement. So that is indicated with this special character asterisks. So asterisks, what is the parameter name? This you include in the functions. Like I have a function, namely making the pizzas. So in the making pizza, I am including this star and my toppings. So this function, what it will do is it will print the list of toppings whatever is requested by the user. So first time the user is requesting pepperoni. So when you pass pepperoni, it will say that the list will be printed here as pepperoni. Next time when I am passing like mushroom, green peppers, extra cheese, so 3 items are passed here. So you may pass one item, one argument, or you may pass multiple arguments, arbitrary number of arguments. So this asterisk in the parameter n tells parameter toppings, tells the Python that make an empty tuple and make an empty tuple toppings and pack whatever value it is received into this tuple, then print it. Okay, so let us see here the example. You have like pizza. Okay, so I am having passing an arbitrary number of arguments using this star toppings. So you can call this like make pizza. Inside, what is the size of pizza? Like small, medium, large, like 12 inch, 14 inch, 16 inch. So medium pizza. So I want chicken. Okay, I want cheddar cheese. Okay, and capsicum. Okay, see, it will make a 14-inch pizza which will have the toppings chicken, cheddar cheese, and capsicum. Fine, students. So what these toppings will receive is it will receive n number of arbitrary number of arguments, and this is the normal parameter which I am argument I am passing to this one is size parameter. So once you receive the list items here, you are going to iterate it and print it. Fine. Okay, so passing a arbitrary number of arguments is this one. Now you want to mix the position as well as the arbitrary arguments, that as I have shown you now, you can do it in this way. So Python matches the position and argument. So in the first position I am passing the size, second position I am passing the list of items. Okay, so position and keyword arguments, it will match, then collect the remaining arguments in the final parameter, this one. So it will accept you the arbitrary number of arguments, okay, and print those items what I have shown to you here. So make it like 16-inch pizza with beef, okay, then cheese, then red capsicum. Okay, my pizza, making a 16-inch pizza which has the following items: beef, cheddar cheese and red capsicum. Beef, cheddar cheese, red capsicum. Okay students, so this is the way of mixing the positional and arbitrary arguments. Okay, now the next concept is using the arbitrary keyword arguments. See here, sometimes you want to accept the arbitrary number of arguments, but you won't know what kind of information has to be passed. What kind of information has to be passed? So you may pass some list, or you may pass some dictionary or some tuple, something like this. So in this case, we are writing here to accept the key value pairs as calling statement here. See, building the profile of the user. Okay, so here the user is accepting, here we are building a dictionary inside this one. First name is this one, last name is this one, then location and field is physics, like this. So you are building the user profile. So you will know the information about the user, but you are not sure what kind of information I will pass. So the function build profile is created in this way, which will take the first, the last name, and it accepts here the arbitrary number of keyword arguments. Okay, so let us move on to this example. Okay, see here I have a function build profile. First name is a parameter, last name is a parameter, and star star user information. Now I am building a dictionary. Make a build empty dictionary as profile. Then the key is first name. Take the value here, put it here, and construct the first item. Then take the next value, last name, put it along with this key. Then it will be a second item. The next is a dictionary. I am like key value pairs. So you have the information, you have the function here like items, which will give you the key set, key and value pairs. So in the dictionary I have key and value, so that will be stored in this variable. The first item like field will be stored in key, and the software engineering will be stored in value from the key set. Okay, so then I am trying to construct this one. Profile of key is equal to value. Finally I am returning the dictionary, so it will print this user profile. So the flow is like this. From here the call will go here, this value will be copied into first parameter, this value will be copied into the last parameter. Okay, and the remaining user info will be into this dictionary. Okay, so if you run this, now it is created in the dictionary. First name is Samir, second last name is Muhammad, location is Sur, field is software engineering, like this. Okay, software development, or okay, like this. So you have seen the arbitrary arguments with position. This is with the keyword values. Okay, how to construct a dictionary inside the function. Okay, the next concept is storing your functions into modules. Okay, storing your functions into modules. So I will continue this in the next session. So if you have any queries, please email it to me. Okay, thank you very much.